But this is a matchup right here that we need to talk about, bro, because people don't know. People don't know about neither of these cats, right? You think Dawkins, right? You think big policeman Chris Dawkins. No, 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 no. We talking about little brother here. We talking about Kyle Dawkins, who, before we get into this prospect in Aliaskhab Khizriev, or Khizri, apologies, tough name, right? Kyle Dawkins is no slouch, man. He gets a little bit of that living in Big Brother's shadow, right? You know what I mean? But he's a middleweight. Dude's 10-1, 1-1 in the UFC with 8 submission wins and 2 decision wins, man. Now, what's the big X factor for Kyle Dawkins' game is that this dude is a middleweight, but he's 6'3" with a 76-inch reach, folks. And if you don't, you got to realize for a second, if you hear those numbers and you're just like, okay, well, what does that mean, right? Kevin Holland, right, as a middleweight, I believe he is like 6'2", 6'3", with like an 83-inch reach, right? And he's got that like John Jones frame that allows him to have this big advantage over everybody else because he can hit you from the other side of the room. You know what I mean? Like he got those long limbs. And especially when you're a submission artist, it definitely helps to have the long limbs to just wrap that leg over your opponent, or you know what I mean, get that hook in, or take that endless arm and just sneak it underneath the neck, you know, whatever the case may be. It's going to be really difficult for a lot of opponents to kind of like work within the frame of Kyle Dawkins. So I needed to give that little shout out before we get into this, but I think the prospect that he's fighting has all of the tools to make this a very short night, man. Aliaskhab Khizriev, man, when was the first time you heard about him? Was it doing film study for this fight? Was that the first time?
I believe I saw a meme of him where it said, "Why do all the Dagestani fighters look like they're from Attack on Titan?" And like I believe that was him because it looks, but and you know that's just a meme, my man. So yes, the first time I actually saw this dude was doing fight research for this, and this dude's a killer, man. Aliaskhab, but I'll just keep saying this dude because it's such a hard name.
Yeah.
Aliaskhab Khizriev, man, that's he's legit. He
Yeah.
can do some serious damage, and I literally put in my thing, man. He's a bigger Khabib, and the difference is he's fluid on his feet,
Yeah.
very fluid. He'll take you down and he'll hurt you, but he's down to stand up straight.
So it's funny that you said he's a bigger Khabib because I actually think he's like a little less polished Abu Bakr Nurmagomedov, right? The one that we just saw this past Saturday, right? Piece up Jared Gooden, right? Now, Jared Gooden isn't the most technical striker, so it kind of makes your striking look better when you faced up against him because he's just a powerhouse. But no disrespect on that. But this dude, his Dana White Contender Series win against Shigemoto, right? His first round submission win, and the fashion in which he did it was just astounding, right? He just bum rushed this dude, took his back, flattened him out, rear naked choke, easy, night over. He gets the interview for it, and he says, you know what, man, this actually was a pretty rough performance. This was, I wanted to put on a better show. He was like, if you think that was something, go watch my other fights, dude. And so I did. And I watched his Fight Night Global fights, man. This was a killer, man. His last 5 fights, only one has gone the distance. The rest have been finished in the first round. And why? Because he's a southpaw who has a mean left cross, but he also has a mean jab. But the number one thing he loves to throw, right, is that lead front kick to the liver. And he's dropped opponents with liver shots. He's had opponents literally in there like begging for mercy, like, please do not hit me anymore. This dude is legit, man, and it's scary. AJ, can I ask you this really quickly? Is it not a little scary to know that all of these fighters coming out of Russia, all these fighters coming out of Dagestan, because that is where Khizriev is coming out of, from Dagestan. He's a Dagestani kickboxer wrestler. Is it scary that these dudes are like taking over right now? Because I talked about it on the betting show a little bit. I had said that in America, right, we have fighters and we have some game fighters, right? But really, if you want to become a big sports star, you go play basketball or football or, you know what I mean? Even maybe boxing, you know what I mean? Because you can get the big money or whatever the case may be. But you're going to play some of those other sports, baseball, whatever the case, right? These dudes out of Dagestan, they live, eat, sleep, breathe this, right? You can go out in Europe and in Russia and you can get a master's of sport for an education, right? So they take it a little bit more serious. And then it just seems like Khabib has endless amounts of cousins. The Nurmagomedov lineage is now, it's like in real time, we're seeing the Nurmagomedov lineage right now is probably like what the Gracies were when this sport started. So is it, first, before we talk about the fight anymore, is it scary to know that all of these Dagestani fighters are like coming in, killing the game, coming to the UFC, the PFL, Bellator? Like, you got Nurmagomedovs everywhere, you got Dagestanis everywhere. Give me some thoughts.
Bro, it's crazy. It's like you were saying, in the day, or the South, or the Brazil's taking over, too. Like, just people coming out of a certain little pocket of area. This seems to be the next jump of it. And man, it's crazy because you think of Americans, how we play multiple sports, like you're saying, football, basketball, soccer, we're all playing multiple sports all year long. the people in Russia, the Dagestanis, man, they're playing multiple fighting sports all year long. Like they're wrestling, they're sambo, they're kickboxing. That's the crazy thing, man. And they like live, breathe, and eat the fight game. And I think that's what's scary, man. It's could be a double-edged sword coming out of that name, having the name Dagestani behind you, when you think like, okay, everybody knows the game plan. This dude's a killer. So if you don't live up to the expectation, it's a lot of pressure. But man, this dude, like, it's insane to see the amount of volume coming out of it too, as well as the level of that volume that's still being produced. It's crazy, man. It's killer.
Yeah, I'd say it's insane. It's a beautiful thing, ultimately, you know what I mean? In my opinion, at least, that we're getting to see this in real time. But at the end of the day, you got to be able to prove it on fight night, right, man? It's more than just saying I'm hailing out of Dagestan or I'm friends with Khabib. That doesn't matter unless you could prove it in the ring, right? And this is the thing, man. Kyle Daukaus, let me talk about the frame one last time. What's going to make this difficult for Khizriev is that if he tries to wrestle, if he really tries to go hard on that Dagestani wrestling, right, get some handcuffs and all that, right, Kyle Daukaus' frame is going to really tire anybody out, because what he likes to do is lean on people, man. He's 6'3", right? He got that big frame, just lean on top of you, and when you try to do the power takedown on these tall dudes, they can always catch their balance because their legs are so long, so it makes it really difficult unless you're really far in on a double and you just drag them down, pull their legs from underneath them, and you know what I mean, try to get on top like that. Something similar to Magomedov. He just fought today at on Brave, and that's exactly what he did to his opponent. It was relentless, it was incredible, and I think that's what's going to be the game changer here, clearly. Obviously, Khizriev, it's going to be the relentless wrestling approach that is not going to allow Kyle Daukaus to get the submissions off. Now, Daukaus being such a high-level submission artist, do you think Khizriev could get a submission on him, or do you think this is going to be a stalemate in terms of the ground game? And if that's being said, could this potentially turn into a kickboxing match?
I'm actually interested to see. I'm always interested to see how the long dude, the taller, lengthier fighter handles somebody coming in for a takedown, man, because those knees and those kicks of Daukaus are dangerous. Now, back up, man, because I was talking about Khizriev before, and just a quick side note on him, what impressed me most is he absolutely starched Yusimar Palhares, an older Yusimar Palhares, but still starched him nonetheless, okay? But my boy, Kyle Daukaus, all right, first off, whether it's Big Brother Chris or it's Kyle, the younger Kyle, I'm a Daukaus fan, okay? I'm hoping the other two brothers start fighting as well, because I'm excited to see the whole family in there, man. They're crazy, like fighting out of. I think their parents grew up Amish, and they were like, "Nah, man, we're good. Like we're gonna do our thing." Well, so like I said, like you were talking about, Kyle's big, lanky, and he's gonna grind Khizriev down if he can, you know. But I don't think that's the best of options, because I think Israel is going to be putting a lot of pressure. So I do think Kyle could get a little tricky in there, because those long limbs are going to make for easier mobility. I guess not mobility, but what's the word? Like pivot points harder. So he's going to be able to get a little trickier submissions out there. And Kyle Daukaus is no slouch, but as well, man, he's facing an absolute killer. So this one to me is very interesting, man, because I'm a big Daukaus fan. And lately, all the people I'm a big fan of have not been winning. So I'm really hoping he goes through, you know?
Yeah, I feel you. It'll be interesting, and I do have to just show a little bit of love. Kyle Daukaus' last win was against Dustin Stoltzfus, which was an incredibly high-level win, man. This was a big test. Stoltzfus was on a 10-fight win streak. Incredible wrestler, hailing out of Germany. This dude really was very well-rounded as a prospect, and to be able to just grind on him and get the dub like that, he had a big size advantage, but that's what I'm talking about. That frame is just different. Some people, they don't know how to handle it. They might have more skills than you, but have a hard time bypassing that frame. And Khizriev is only 5'9", and he's got a 74-inch reach. So he's got a 2-inch reach disadvantage, and he's shorter by like 4 or 5 inches. So it'll be interesting to see. But this is, David versus Goliath, except David is a fucking killer, and he might really put down Goliath. So we'll see. But give me your pick, man. Who are you going for and why?
Yeah, this is David versus Goliath, but David is stout. Yeah. So me personally, man, I think we're gonna see kind of a blitzing fashion from Khizriev, kind of come in, control a little bit. I imagine he's going to shoot and work for the takedown and try to put a hole in Daukaus' face. But I'm thinking Daukaus, we're going to see a little bit of the Masvidal knee, man. We're going to see, I think he's going to wait for it, either double underhooks, hit him with a knee, because those knees are dangerous. At least that's what I'm hoping for, because I'm going Daukaus KO round 1.
All right, right on, man. And I think that Kyle Daukaus, he could sit there and he could wait for all the takedowns, because guess what? Stay at range and let Khizriev sit there and kickbox you, man. Your liver is going to get touched. And once that liver gets touched, then you're going to put the hands low, and then you're going to headhunt, and you're going to go hands up, then you're going to take the takedown. I think Khizriev just got a little too many weapons, man. Undefeated, 13-0. I think he's going to keep it up. I think we're going to see an early finish. So I'm going to go knockout round 2, but the beginning of round 2, like early, coming out. ready to make it happen. It'll be interesting. Hopefully I don't have to eat crow, but, you know, that's the nature of the game. Someone got to lose, man. Somebody got to win, somebody got to lose.